So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session. And we are having a really good session, close to our terms of having a mechanism to support each other as we do our research. David, you can mute everyone. And so today we have two great gentlemen. Both of them are called Patrick, and they're speaking on a topic that is called accountability. It's on accountability partners, why we need to work together with someone with us in our research journey. And their topic, they have introduced it. I'll just read the catch that they sent with the topic. Let's meet and introspect on accountability, specifically the significance of having accountability buddies. We all need someone to see the hope inside ourselves. I believe that it's not by chance that we are in research. We are destined to impact one another, and we are like an orchestra where each plays a part to create a great rendition. So today we have Patrick Molinge. He's a communication specialist. He's also a PhD candidate at Daystar University. Karibu, Patrick. We also have Patrick Motinda. He's a consultant in research and monitoring and evaluation. He has an MA in population studies, University of Nairobi. He's pursuing currently an MA in refugee studies, University of London, SOAS. And so welcome to this peer session. Peer session is a forum that we have created in the Journal Club to allow members in the club to share their knowledge. We believe that everyone has something to say and something to share. It's also an opportunity to create visibility for Journal Club members around the work that they're doing. It's also a mentorship space where we can all learn from each other. So without further ado, I'd like to karibisha Patrick Molinge. He's taking us for the first 40 minutes. Then Patrick Motinda will come in, and then you can ask your questions on the chat button, and then we can read out the question thereafter. So karibuni.
Thank you. Yes, so my name is Patrick Mulinge, like you've heard. Yeah, and we are going to introspect on how to improve research endeavors and through accountability today. Yeah, we know very well that research is a journey, and in this journey, we need one another. Yeah, and we must thank God for Aurelia for creating this forum through AIDA Africa, because it has enabled us to come together and see how we can be of help to one another. Yeah, so I go straight to the definition of accountability. Yeah, and according to the Webster Online Dictionary, accountability is the quality or state of being accountable, especially I'm trying to adjust my screen. Okay, thank you. The quality or state of being accountable, especially regarding an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account to one's actions. Now, when it comes to our case, we have this scholar by the name Stringer, 2016. He gave a definition which is related to what we are actually doing. Yeah, and according to him, accountability is peer-to-peer collaborative relationship between two colleagues. My screen again. Let me try to.
You can minimize the window where you are seeing our faces, Patrick, so that it doesn't block.
Let me just use a small. Okay. Yeah, peer-to-peer collaborative relationship between two colleagues who like and respect one another, and establish a trusted partnership to keep, to maintain a relationship which is honest and moving on to a path that they have set. Now, when it comes to Journal Club, I tried to come up with a definition that suits us. Yeah, and this definition has to do with the activities that we are engaged in. I know each one of us at some point read the activities that Journal Club is out to do. Yeah, and out of the list of activities, activity number 7 is about accountability bodies. Yeah, so I came up with this definition that accountability is the mutual obligation of members to be concerned about each other's progress in research and general welfare. So, like I had stated earlier, accountability is very, very important in this research journey. Yeah, because it gives us the burden of showing concern or being concerned with one another. Yeah, and it also gives some impetus, some driving force as far as achievement of our goals is concerned. Yeah, and the key objective of Journal Club is to enhance research, mentorship, collaboration, growing research skills, nurturing critical appraisal, enhancing subject matter expertise, and fostering networks. Yeah, and for all of these to be realized, then we come to a conclusion that we actually need one another. Somebody whom you can be accountable to, somebody who can call you once in a while and get to know how you are progressing. Yeah, somebody who is concerned about not just your research work, but your general welfare. Now, who is an accountability body? Yeah, and okay, I think now I'm able to minimize the, yeah, accountability body. Yeah, and accountability body system is healthy peer pressure. According to Seldin 2016, peer pressure is powerful, especially when the decisions we are making are ambiguous, and the closer we are to the person or group we are comparing ourselves to, the more likely we are to be influenced by them. So you find that when you have a buddy or a friend whom you share objectives, whom you share goals, whom you are moving towards the same direction, then it is easier for you to achieve that which you want, because you feel the burden, you feel the need to ensure that you achieve that which your purpose, because somebody, you're accountable to somebody, somebody is always reminding you, somebody is concerned that you're not just stagnant, you're dynamic. Yeah, and accountability partnership is not just about policing, but also motivating. Yeah, according to Stringer 2016, we are much more likely to take action when someone is taking note and tracking our goals, but not just when somebody is taking note and tracking our goals, but also coaching us and cheering us on along the way. Yeah, and I'm sure at some point in life, you have had somebody, just in general life, you have had somebody who once encouraged you, or somebody whom you are accountable to, or somebody whom you set goals together, and somehow along the way, you kept encouraging one another. It could have been at undergraduate level, could be have been at master's level, could be at your job place, or even in the family setting. Yeah, and basically that's what we mean, because in Journal Club, we are like a family that is heterogeneous, which has come together. Everybody has his or her goals. Everybody is out to accomplish something, but there's something that binds us again. And this has to do with progress in research. Yeah, and therefore it is very important that we be accountable to one another, that we carry one another's burden, because you realize when it comes to research, sometimes it can be a bit, you can go through ups and downs, the synclines and anticlines of life. Yeah, and when you are down there, a colleague can approach you and can communicate with you and give you a word of encouragement. Again, you find that uh, your body can give you, can help you through resources, pieces of advice, yeah, and the like. Yeah, and uh, just as we progress, I'd like you to maybe reflect, try to introspect, think about uh, somebody in life who has been of help to you, somebody who has been encouraging you, somebody whom maybe you have shared a lot in matters regarding research. Yeah, and maybe at the end of the session, you'll be able to tell us something about that particular person. Okay. Yeah, and now when we are talking about an accountability partner, this somebody who is there to cheer you, somebody who is there to motivate you, somebody who is there to support you, somebody who is there to challenge you. Yeah, and maybe to give some examples, uh, Aurelia introduced and said that I'm a tester. That's where I'm doing my PhD. Yeah, and there are two members of this forum whom we have shared a lot, whom we have been in touch with one another. One of them is Joy, the other one is Anne. Yeah, and we've been encouraging one another, been sharing resources, words of encouragement, opportunities, and basically getting to know how each one of us is progressing. So you find that at times, it reaches a time that, especially those who are in academia, you feel like quitting. But somehow somebody and gives you some pieces of advice, somebody encourages you, and therefore you continue with the pace. At other times, you find that maybe employment matters or family duties are draining you, and you feel like maybe you can keep research at bay, and then you retrace your steps sometime later in life. And then somebody calls you and tells you that actually you need to continue with this research journey. Now, 6 habits of highly accountable people. These are people who take responsibility. They don't make excuses. They are on time. they control their own fate, meaning that they work proactively and diligently with the team. They manage expectations. Of this, we can come to a conclusion that this accountability issue or thing is not something that is one way. It is something that is two way. Meaning that if you are taking responsibility and getting to know how your friend is faring, that friend of yours should also take responsibility and get to know how you are faring. If you're not giving excuses, then your friend is not also giving excuses. Yeah, and if you're managing your expectations well, if your friend is managing his or her expectations well, yeah, I want us to imagine the kind of synergy that can be created in such kind of a scenario. Here you are doing your role in encouraging or rather being a buddy to your friend in research, and then your friend is doing the same. And then we come together as journal club where we have pairs, triples, quadruples, name it, or people who are out for one another. So we have subsistence here. Then we have other people out there whom we have also roped in. Then we are going to create a great synergy and we'll be able to move research forward, not just in Journal Club or in Kenya alone, but in Africa as a whole. Now, when you look at accountability bodies, you come to a conclusion that it actually fits somewhere in between mentorship and coaching. You can see the differences between mentorship and coaching: motivation-based, skills-focused, formal, more formal, flexible, a bit stringent, hierarchical. And then in coaching, we have one of the parties being more knowledgeable. Now, when you look at this analogy, you come to a conclusion that our body relationship fits somewhere in between. It's kind of an integration of coaching, mentorship, yeah, and bodyship, people say. So ours should be an horizontalized kind of relationship. Yeah, and this relationship whereby there's no hierarchy, if to say, and then it be as mutual as possible, two-way, such that we have the two parties being of help to one another, the two parties encouraging one another, the two parties being resourceful to one another. Yeah, and that does not mean that this kind of existence cannot be enhanced if we have people, maybe a case of somebody who is more knowledgeable teaming up with another one who is slightly less knowledgeable, or somebody who has advanced the academic ladder teaming up with somebody who is still advancing. Because in this forum we have doctors, we have professors and professors in waiting. We have people who maybe have done an undergraduate, but they have delved deeply into research, others at master's level, different levels. But the bottom line is the research. So the kind of person that you team up with, that symbiosis kind of relationship, it should not be, if to say, it should not be gravitate towards one person only. it is important that each and every person be of help to one another. Because like I had stated earlier, this is buddyship. We have mentorship, coaching, and buddyship. Yeah, and there's a video I downloaded. Hope time is going to allow. Yeah, and I just want to play it. It's about the difference between mentoring and coaching.
It's coming up, Patrick. All is well?
Yeah, all is well. I hope you are able to follow.
Yes, we are really enjoying the session.
Okay.
Would you share
Yeah.
the screen for the video, please?
Oh, you're not seeing it?
No.
No, we can't.
Sorry.
Mute yourself, mwenye hajakula.
You're able to see it now?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, but now.
We can see now.
Okay. So I'll just play the introductory part. Yeah, and maybe I'll progress due to time. Okay, maybe due to time, I'll be able to share the video with Aurelia, and then she'll be able to post it later on our forum so that we may be able to download it.
Thank you. It had good words.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So, bodies in research are of great significance. Just like you can see, there is this particular organization known as Association for Talent Development 2016. And they did a research, and this was the conclusion that if you have an idea, you're likely to accomplish it at the level of 10%. If you are consciously deciding, then it is 25%. When you're deciding that you're going to do it, 40%. And then at the bottom there, having specific accountability appointment with somebody you have committed, then it shoots to 95%. Yeah, meaning that if we are accountable to one another, then definitely we are going to accomplish a lot. I know in our midst, we have those who are writing their thesis. There are those who are doing post-work research. There are others who are doing projects for organizations. Others are writing books, journals, and the like. Yeah, and if we are there for one another, we divert that we are out to do this. For instance, if I tell Joy that I'd like to present a paper, maybe in October this year during the International Communication Association conference, then she keeps on inquiring, how far have you gone with that paper? What's your concept and the like? Then definitely, if at some point I feel like stepping aside or stopping the whole business of doing that particular paper, then I'll be obliged because somebody is on my toes. So now, how does this whole business of coming up with research buddies come about? So it is important to set goals, and then we share with one another. In 2020, this is what we like to accomplish. I want to graduate by the year 2022. I feel like writing a book on such and such a subject. Immediately you divert that to a friend, then definitely they are going to be there for you to inquire your progress, to give you resources, to connect you with people who are maybe established in that particular area and the like. Yeah, and you find that you can keep on checking on one another, can be on weekly basis. The pattern that you're going to decide to adopt, only that it should not stay for so long until this particular relationship loses the vigor that's supposed to drive it. Yeah, and you find that when you come together, there's that newness that is created. For instance, I'm making the presentation today together with Patrick. Yeah, and Patrick have never met. I mean, we met in this particular forum. Yeah, and we have already become friends. He's an expert when it comes to data analysis. So I know where I can run to during that particular time when I'm going to be doing my data analysis. I'm doing communication. Yeah, maybe as he progress, he'll write something and then he'll give it to me, maybe to proofread it for him. So basically, this is a symbiotic relationship, and we just have to establish it. We never know after coming up with this kind of movement, if to say, of having buddies, what other level we are going to go to. Maybe we are going to infect Tanzania, we are going to infect Uganda, we are going to infect the whole of East Africa, Africa. Yeah, and the momentum is going to continue. We know that mentoring has been there over the years, but it is good if we give it some new dimension, if we give it some new impetus. So now, what do you need to do when you are coming up with an accountability partner? It's important you choose somebody whom you trust, somebody whom you tell your frustrations, they'll understand you. Yeah, and sharing goals, very important, what you'd like to accomplish. Yeah, the regular check-ins, very important. Social media, calls, and the like. Yeah, and it's important to revisit goals and strategies once in a while. How far have you gone? Are you done with writing that particular paper? How far are you with your project? When are you planning to graduate? What measures have you put in place? Yeah, and the like. So when you are coming up, we are establishing accountability partnerships. This particular person can be a person who is in your field, or it can be somebody who is in a different field. I give an example. Patrick is his area of specialization is what? Refugees and what? Population. Yeah, that particular area.
And now refugee studies.
Exactly. Yeah, and I had stated that is accomplished when it comes to data analysis, in communication, media studies, and we are together. So it doesn't have to be somebody whom you're doing the same thing. Yeah, again, you don't have to be at the same level of study. It can be somebody who is at undergraduate level, teaming up with somebody who is at PhD level, or who has already attained a PhD, or who is a professor. Yeah, and by so doing, this particular person who is at a higher level will be able to pull, to encourage the other one who has done maybe 1 degree to even desire to go for a second one, or even a third one. Yeah, and don't have to be the same age, same gender. This is somebody who is going to be there for you, and whom you'll be able to share your aspirations with. Yeah, some of the things that are a challenge or hindrance to establishing accountability buddy systems. Number one is responsibility. And so at times we find that we don't give responsibility the burden or the weight that it is due. Times you find that we want to cling to the status quo. This is how I did my undergraduate. This is how I'm going to do. I'll progress with my master's in the same way, my PhD the same way. This is where I work. This is the culture of our organization. So that is how I'll do things. I studied in this particular university. This is what we are doing. I don't feel like getting out of that cocoon. So it is important for us to get out of the status quo, yeah, and try to explore different ways of doing things. And we should be forever grateful to AIDA Africa for establishing this particular forum. Yeah, lack of motivation, it happens in life. Sometimes you feel like quitting, sometimes you don't feel like doing anything. Sometimes you you think, you try to imagine whether a particular project that you have begun, whether uh, you actually made the right decision or it was a mistake. Yeah, and that is why we really need this accountability buddies system, attitude. Mhm. Yeah, sometimes you feel like, okay, is this thing going to work? Then if it's going to work, to what extent? Mhm. So what do you need to do? You need to cheer up one another. I know there are times you have been down and somebody pulled you, regardless of the setting. It can again happen during this particular time, during this dispensation. Yeah, challenging one another. Once again, let me allude to Joy. She's all the way in Sweden, but she has been challenging me, uh, uh, getting to know how I'm progressing, what I'm writing, uh, assessing the ideas of project that I'm out to do, and the like. Yeah, honest feedback, very, very important, and then being neutral. We very well know that we are all from different backgrounds, and we are diverse. Talk of ethnicity, talk of age, gender, personalities, and everything. But I believe, in a way, we can accommodate one another despite our differences. We can be of help to one another. We can be subsets to this large system. Yeah, and it's going to be good. So I'm going to end there, and then my friend, the other Patrick, is going to take over.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Really well done. We're looking forward to the next, Patrick. You can now go to the chat and just check the kind of conversations that are going on there. And once Patrick is done, you could respond to any question that is there. Karibu, Patrick.
Thanks, Aurelia. David, can I have the slide, the last slide?
Can you be able to see it?
Right. Thanks, David. Thanks everyone for being with us. And this is the last slide of our presentation. And it's basically summing up what my colleague has just said. Now, we want to make it more practical. And I'm simply borrowing from what Patrick has just presented on the way forward and how to go about getting accountability partners. So the first thing is to make a decision on whether you want a one-way or two-way system. One-way system is where you have someone who is only checking on you, but you are not checking on them. Now, there could be advantages for having a two-way relationship, better than one-way relationship, because, well, when it's one way, you will not spend extra time following up someone. You save on time, but at some point, you may begin to feel, especially when you get lazy, and this person is on your neck, you may begin to feel that you are being policed. This person is too much on you. But when it's two-way, you're also able to learn from the other person because you are going through the same, similar challenges, I mean, and learning how they overcame the challenges can make you actually grow. But it all depends on what you want. You need to choose what works for you. Um, for example, you could have one buddy assisting with data analysis, someone else on literature review, or depending on whatever you're working on, you can have several buddies for different things or same thing as well. But that decision is important, deciding whether it will be one way or two way. And we would recommend a two way, but again, just choose what works for you. Now, you also need to find someone you trust, respect, and you are willing to be accountable to. Not someone you joke, you're never serious with this person. Everything is jokes. So you need someone who can actually make you better. Remember, you are trying to do things differently. You want to finish that dissertation, that thesis you began 5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Uh, so you have to begin to do things differently. And you need someone who will actually make you get out of your comfort zone. And if the person is not doing that, maybe it's not the right person to be your accountability buddy. Okay? So yes, you need to find someone who you trust and respect. But you have to, again, approach them in a nice way. Of course, we cannot deal with that one here. You need to have the skills to approach the person. And we want to assume that it won't be difficult to approach this person because you already have some kind of relationship. You could be, our research showed that this person is actually better if they are different from you in personality, because they would view things differently, and that mix would actually create something better out of it. You could, as Patrick said, you could be in different disciplines or same discipline, and you must not be doing the same thing. One person could be doing dissertation, the other person could be doing something else, and but you are peers. That's the main thing. You are peers, and you can relate to each other with more ease. Okay. So, and this person, still on point number 2, this person you are looking for, like in our case, they could be within journal club or outside of journal club. But we would also recommend that you bring them to journal club so that we continue to share together. The third thing, after you identify this person, is to set the goals. And my colleague has just mentioned some of them, like completing your thesis by 2022. And the goals must be really, we know the popular formula, SMART. The goals must be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. If there's no, especially the time factor, if there is no timeline, then that's not an accountability system. That's something else. The fourth point, be very specific with what, get specific with them. Give them all the details. I think most of you are familiar with the Gantt chart, the tool that tracks time for different tasks for a project. So if you can share with them the timelines for everything since the beginning, then you set yourself up for more scrutiny, and that's what we want. You want to be scrutinized more so that you can act much more effectively. Okay, so the other one is to set rules. You just need to agree on how you need to be checking on each other. This can be as frequent as you people agree, but we recommend that it should not be, the time should not go beyond 1 week. You have to be in touch at least within a week. You should also set other rules like, what mode of communication shall you be using? Is it text? Is it call? Is it Skype? Is it WhatsApp or physical meeting? Which might be a bit tricky this time, physical meetings, but you just need to agree. And as we said, this person could be actually living far away, and so online platforms could work much better. So the other thing is to, after you set the rules, and of course things like time for calling each other, you don't want to be in a situation where someone gets irritated because you called very late at maybe, I don't know, 2 a.m. or something. That's not part of being decent. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, if you are not achieving your goals, maybe there is something about the goals. Maybe they are not smart. Maybe they are not actually achievable. And if they're achievable, maybe there is something about you that's making you not achieve them. But all in all, if you really find out that you are not getting anywhere, it's advisable that you revisit your goals and the strategies that you have. And then when that is done, you can celebrate. But this time of Corona, we are limited on how we can celebrate. So you can look for ways of celebrating. And when the relationship is successful, then you can take the same approach on a different issue. You apply the same buddyship on a different issue or a different project or a different goal and see how it works out. Finally, there is something that's good about performing well. When you achieve something, you are more motivated to do something else. But if you don't, you get demotivated, you get depressed, then you don't work on it, and then you get more depressed, and it becomes a vicious cycle. So always make sure you actually push through until you achieve something, because you get more motivated to do much more. You've been wanting to publish a paper for the last 10 years or something, and then you find someone who helps you to publish one. You feel so good that you go for another one and another one and another one. That's what happens. So this thing about accountability is what motivates us. And if we understand that, especially what motivates us, then we will be able to complete whatever has stalled. for a long time. So I think I would like to end there. And we are actually, for anyone who does not have an accountability buddy, we thought that we should report back in 2 weeks' time on whether you got someone or not. But this is open for discussion. So we now invite questions, and thanks for listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good job for the great session and for breaking it down to us exactly how a buddy relationship can look like and how we can mutually benefit from it. So right now we just have 4 minutes actually. So we are going to invite any participant who would like to say something, who maybe has an experience of a buddy system that has worked, who can share that with us. And then have another minute from Patrick Mulinge. Anything you'd like to comment on any of the chats, just very briefly. We have to keep time. As you say, buddies keep time. So we have to be finished by 5. So any participant, you can just unmute yourself. Do you want to say anything about the session? Are you now going to have a buddy? Let's hear from at least 1 or 2.
Can I say something?
Yes.
All right. My name is Wangari. I'm a student at USIU Africa. Thank you so much for the presentation. You know, when I saw both panelists' names, I thought an accountability partner must have the same name as yourself. Maybe coming from the same county, maybe even if we looked at their height, they could probably be the same height or something. And that was me at the beginning of the presentation. But now I've understood what the various factors are for choosing an accountability partner. So my sister and I are good friends, but we are not very good for business and research in our relationship. We are not so serious. So now today I've learned that I can get other accountability partners as well, so as to balance that. Then I had a question on gender. If I chose an accountability partner of an opposite gender, how can we respect each other, maintain boundaries, and there are different ways women bond than men. Women bond, first of all, from friendships. So how does that work? Gender, culture, different locations, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jace, for your question. As Patrick is thinking of the answer, any other participant? Anything? Hi.
I am liking the presentation, though I joined a bit later. I thought it was at 5. I wanted to ask, in terms of the research and all that, there are people who are not as per se able to, they have the ideas and they have the PowerPoints in their mind, but then they are not able to work to put them down in writing. How do you help such people? Whereby somebody has an idea without now that you've talked of accountability, you have an idea, okay, you're not able to put it down. And I'm imagining some people may take your idea after you communicate it to them, and then they learn with it and implement it. How now can we be able to help such people who need you are authentic and you're true to yourself, and then you want to help somebody to put their minds into paper or to a journal? Thank you.
Thank you. Both who is Patrick, you can now answer those questions.
Okay.
Any else was talking?
Yes, I've heard what she has said. Yeah, so let me begin with what our friend has just said regarding having an idea and then somebody kind of steals it. You share it and then they steal. Yeah, and that takes us back to ethics, research ethics. So I believe all of us who are here are driven by ethics. Yeah, and anybody out there who is a true researcher in the 21st century, then ethics takes center stage. So the key factor is that the person you are choosing to be your buddy is somebody you'll be comfortable working with. Yeah, and if you feel convicted that I can work with that this particular person, then definitely that will be the person who will not end up maybe owning your own idea and things of that kind. Yeah, therefore, the issue of trust is very, very important when it comes to research. Yeah, there's also another issue which was raised, I think, by Joy, Joy USIU. Yeah, too much friendship, too little business. Yeah, and I think that is what we are trying to demystify. Then we can have research buddies, and then you find that it's not just chatting, it's not just coffee, it's not just mere communication, but rather something is being born out of this kind of establishment. Yeah, and somebody inquired about a body changing status, relocating, graduating, getting married, and the like. Yeah, and I do believe that we are flexible, we are dynamic. Yeah, and like my friend stated, it's not a must that you only have one body. Actually, you can have a number. So that means if this particular person uh, changes in one way or another, then you'll be able uh, to hook up with somebody else whom you're going to continue in this journey of research together with. If they, for example, they relocate to another country, maybe you'll continue working with that particular person because right now, even in this forum, we have some people who are following from overseas. Yeah, there was something else striking about gender, how it can work. Yeah, and indeed, it can work. We have had cases whereby we have female professors supervising thesis for male students and vice versa. Yeah, and if that has worked, I do believe that in our case, in our scenario, it can also work. But again, remember that the bottom line is somebody you are comfortable with, somebody whom you can work with. Thank you.
So just to add, thanks, my namesake Patrick. Just to add, the issue about this person with an idea, but they don't know how to put it on paper. This is a common challenge in writing. I think it's the greatest challenge in writing, writing the first sentence. Or it's also a challenge for people who are more analytical. They are just they just know how to deal with numbers, but not how to write. Someone can generate for you statistics very quickly, but they cannot write more than a page. So now this, and that's actually one of the things you should know about yourself, and then get someone who complements you. So you might decide to get someone who is good in writing, someone in communications, or not necessarily communications, but someone who is good at research writing or writing, whatever it is. And yeah, there's no problem on gender. There's no problem really. You can have a buddy who is of the opposite gender, but remember the rules. We said the slide I presented last, number 5. You should set rules on how you need to be communicating. So, and for everything, the frequency and the timings. We don't want situations where you call people at midnight. So it can work. Thanks.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, the Patrick Squared, for a really lovely presentation. We now have an idea of how this system could work to benefit us. And I think the one rule I'll emphasize that we abide by, it yourself, after 2 weeks, we are going to make a call and try and see who already has a buddy, who wants to have a buddy. We'll just make a big list of names of people who have a buddy. And as the Patricks have told us, probably a two-way relationship would be better. And so just go back home, think about a buddy, someone you'd like to follow you, whether in the club or outside. And then after 2 weeks, we will see what we have come up with. So thank you very much. And if there is nothing else, we are going to close now. And I wish you the very best in your work. Next week, we are going to have our Q&A as well as a mock presentation, and you're all invited to join in.
There's a hand carried there, Mangari.
Hello? Who? Yes?
I can see someone. There is a hand. There's a hand that has been staying there for long.
Okay, whose hand? Please talk.
Check. The hand is there.
Anastasia.
Hi. Sorry. I wanted to say thank you for the answer. And I wanted to say, do you also do like compiling and putting things in YouTube, and also the whatever you compile in journal writing and compiling and putting for someone in the YouTube? When somebody gives an idea and all that, on how do you assist such?
Okay, what we are a journal club, meaning it's a mentorship space created so that we use different tools to be able to do mentorship and supporting each other. So one of the tools is what you're seeing today. It's called a peer-to-peer session, where a member presents on a particular topic that is of interest to them. And then we have this presentation put on YouTube. We also have another tool, which is called Shut Up and Write. This is where we encourage members to dedicate 2 hours every day or every other day to write their work, to just shut up and write. We have other tools about peer review. So maybe if you join the journal club, we could be able to see what could be your needs, what could be your skills, and then we can figure out how to talk about that. So all these presentations we record and put on YouTube so that people can listen to them. And also the people who are presenting can also have their footprint out there. As researchers, we also need to have our footprint out there in the world and people seeing the work we are doing. So I don't know, have I answered, Anastasia?
Yes, you have. I'm in the journal club, so I'll follow up on the list.
Okay, you can inbox me and we talk about this. You need. Okay.
That's okay.
So thank you, Patrick Square. It's been great. Lovely weekend, and see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks.
Merci.
So David, you'll put the chats.
Okay, sure.
I'll leave you to end, right?
Yeah,
So
let me
it can
end
be
it
your
right now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks too for showing up.